Today's video is going to be part 2 of the right hand movement and the proper way to hold the Risha. If you missed the first part, you can find a video link in the description box down below. Hi, my name is Faddoul Saad and welcome to my YouTube channel in Oud Rundown Series. Let's get started. Okay, let's put what we have learned into practical use. You will hold the oud as you have learned, and you can find a link for a detailed video on how you should hold the oud properly in the description box down below. Prepare the Risha, bend your wrist as we discussed in part 1, then turn your wrist down. This is an important step, I'm going to say it one more time. Prepare the Risha, bend your wrist, then turn it down. We will start from the bass string F. Lift your hand above the string's level as a part of the rotational movement, then play it with a downstroke until you reach the string underneath it. In this case, the A string, and rest your hand on it. So, this is the basic movement. Lift your hand above the desired string level, stroke it with a downward rotational movement, and rest on the string below. This movement is called strokes with a rest, and it's the basic movement that every beginner should start with. There is also strokes without a rest, but this is something for the far future. In the meantime, stick to strokes with a rest. Then we move to A string, and we play it with a downstroke, then rest on the D string. Then D string, rest on G, G, rotational movement downward to rest on C, C, lift your hand, stroke it with a downstroke, and rest on F. When you reach the high F, you will find that there is no string underneath it. So try to imagine that there is a string, then perform the same movement you did on the other strings. A quick note: don't place your hand too close to the bridge and play, or too close to the middle of the big hole and play. At the early stages, always keep it in a moderate place. The first one is playing with the whole arm instead of the wrist. Actually, this is energy consuming because you are simply moving a bigger mass, and at the same time it causes damage and health issues to the right shoulder and neck, so always use your wrist. The second one, for example, I am playing the bass F, resting on the A. Now I want to play the A string. In this case, I'm not allowed to slide my hand on the A string in this way, since it's already resting on it. What I should do is to repeat the basic movement all over again. Lift my hand above the desired string and stroke it with a rotational movement downward to rest on the string underneath. Sliding is a beginner's mistake, so whenever you want to play a string, execute the basic movement. The third one is stroking the string with an outward rotational movement instead of downward. This is also a beginner's mistake, especially on the high F, since there is no string underneath it to rest on. Put an additional effort to mimic the movement from other strings. The fourth one is, as for beginners, stroking with a wrist will be difficult for you. and occasionally you will play the string that you are supposed to rest on by mistake. And this is quite normal at first. With repetition, this problem will be solved. But pay attention not to place your hand on the string, then sliding it to play it. To play any string, always execute the basic movement as a whole, from lifting your hand above the desired string till resting on the one underneath. Now, let me get back to why you should practice the right hand movement, the basic rotational movement, and the proper way to hold the risha separately without oud first, then applying it on the oud. As beginners, you have to pay attention to a lot of details while you are playing or practicing. So, always splitting the tasks will be your most reliable friend in music. Usually, when I explain how you should hold the risha or move your hand to beginners, some of them, they wreck it up when they start playing on the oud, simply just because they didn't practice separately. And at the end, playing the oud is a set of tasks that are completed and piled on top of each other to achieve a certain result. So, if there is a task hasn't been sufficiently accomplished, it will make the next one difficult to complete. And vice versa, of course. So, be patient. Practice holding the risha, the basic movement, rotational movement, separately, then apply it to the oud. And always remember, splitting task should be a part of your relationship and mentality with oud. In today's exercise, you will practice playing 8 down strokes on each string, keeping in mind all the notes and steps we discussed in this video. Start from the bass F. Then move to the A. Then D. G. C. And finally, F. It's important to practice all the strings separately and equally until your hand gets used to the differences between the strings, because they are made with different materials and have different thickness, so the resistance will be different on your hand. And the amount of practice you spend on one string should be the same amount you spend on the others. After you are finished with practicing separately, start practicing the strings conjointly, without a pause in between. Move from the bass F until you reach the high F and get back to the bass F. Ascending and descending, all the strokes should be down. Then repeat the cycle with 4 strokes instead of 8. And finally, 2 strokes. It's very useful to practice everything we discussed in this lesson in front of a mirror or camera. We have reached the end of this lesson. I hope that I answered most of your questions about this topic. I really enjoyed this video when I was preparing and filming it, and I wish that it provides you with useful information and enjoyment. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. I guess we will meet in the next lesson. Bye bye.